Consultancy Cavendish Maxwell. Delighted to welcome back to the studio Zaki Sajjad. Zaki, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very well, thank you. Thank
You
for
have
having me.
come armed with your latest research on the office market, and the numbers are staggering. Even in a market where we're used to big numbers, almost doubling sales of offices in Dubai last year to nearly 3 billion dirhams. Tell us more.
Yeah, correct. I mean, 2.8 billion dirhams worth of sales in Q1 this year, 800 million of which were off plan, which is just staggering numbers. When you look at it, you're looking at sort of average office sale prices now at 1650 dirhams a square foot, so 1,650 dirhams a square foot. So, it's been a very, very positive quarter for that segment of the market.
If you and I had been speaking, I don't know, let's say even pre-COVID, I know it's going back in history, what kind of A, momentum and B, prices would you be seeing for office space in Dubai?
Oh, we're seeing sort of nearly double now in terms of we're going back to that period in terms of the increase in value. I think interestingly, it's the sort of strata offices, the smaller offices, the kind of up to 2,000 square foot or 2,000 square meters office spaces where the real bulk of the transactions are taking place.
And that was interesting reading your report. It's not being driven by trophy deals like ICD Brookfield Place buying half the tower. This is, small offices, the size of a 1 or 2 bed apartment, particularly two areas you say, Business Bay and Jumeirah Lake Towers.
Yeah, exactly. They're the two main areas. I mean, what we're seeing is basically spillover demand from that grade A office segment sector. So, where people, there's just not enough supply on that grade A, you're now seeing a big increase in grade B, grade C office spaces. So that's where the demand is and where it's really hot right now. Barsha Heights, also Dubai Silicon Oasis, Motor City. These make up the top 5 with the two you just mentioned.
I mean, let's be candid. Some of these office blocks are great. You see, you've got a meeting at 2:00 on a Tuesday in one of these, on the 32nd floor of one of these towers, and you think, oh, where am I going to park? And then I'm going to have to wait in the lobby for 10 minutes to get an elevator. And people who work there, complain just going down to get a sandwich or a coffee at lunchtime can take 20 minutes. I mean, you know the stories well.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think this is all part of the kind of wider sort of macroeconomic data. If you look at Dubai in general, the surge in population, initially people want somewhere to live. After that, they need somewhere to work, right? And sort of the rise in new businesses that are being created within Dubai. I think nearly 40% increase year on year at Dubai Chambers on their data. So this kind of positive momentum and these macroeconomic factors, coupled with some of the geopolitical sort of issues regionally, which is attracting more and more people to Dubai and to the UAE.
So who's buying these offices? Let's do some simple maths. Let's say we've got a 1,000 square foot office, that size of a 1-bed apartment in JLT. You're talking at 1,600 dirhams per square foot. That's going to cost me 1.6 million dirhams to buy that. Who's buying an office like that?
So, real mixed bag, to be perfectly honest. What we're seeing now is a lot of the previous tenants who, legacy rents, they're used to sort of paying half of what they're being asked to pay today. They're now looking at it and thinking, well, I've been here for 5, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it may be. I may as well just buy.
Okay.
With the way the market is. So that I would say is a big segment of the market. So people that were existing tenants who are now looking to buy either the offices that they're in currently, because the owners are looking to sell, and they're just thinking, let's just not play this game and buy it ourselves. Or they're having to find new space, and they're looking at the rental numbers and saying, well, if I'm staying another 5, 10 years, I may as well just buy.
So this is buy to occupy.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's not to say there's not the speculators. The off-plan sales have surged. You're seeing 800 million dirhams worth of off-plan as well. So a proportion of that is always going to be probably some speculation in there. But I would say it's a lot more stable than perhaps what we're seeing in other segments of the market.
Will the banks lend you money to buy an office?
Yeah, they will. In short, not everyone, but there are banks out there. Obviously, speak to a mortgage advisor, a financial advisor, and they can point you in the right direction for that.
So you could borrow a bit of it. The off-plan market, who's building what? And is it better than those early 2000s office blocks with the dodgy elevators?
Yeah, I think a lot of lessons have been learned from the past, and I think Dubai, in general, is in the UAE, the wider UAE, very good at learning lessons, and sort of reinventing themselves. So I would say, grade A office space, there is a huge pipeline coming. You look at DIFC 2.0, etc. These are all highly desirable areas, but all these big master plans that we're moving southwards in the city, there's more office. It's not just all residential. They have to build schools, offices, hospitals. All these things come along with it. So where the headline numbers are always in the residential sector, I think the office sector's quietly just doing very well now.
Okay, so how affordable or not is office space in Dubai now? 5 years ago, as you said, it was cheap by international standards. Compare us to your Singapores or Hong Kong or your New Yorks, we'd be cheap as chips. How do we benchmark now? As Cavendish Maxwell, I'm sure you do these benchmarking studies.
Yeah, look, I think Dubai, there is if you're comparing benchmarking to these international global cities, then I think Dubai still has room to grow. That's for sure. But one of the fundamentals, you've got a third of the world's population within a 4-hour flight of Dubai, and with the rise of family offices and the rise of population and these people now looking to have some sort of base here, you're going to see probably further increases in that segment.
Last question. What if AI means no one needs office workers anymore? I give you Andy Jassy of Amazon saying AI is going to destroy some jobs. You're sitting on the second floor of a building in Media City now. Upstairs, Amazon. Downstairs, Amazon. Will they still need that space? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think, look, there's always going to be a requirement for humans. We may have to reinvent ourselves slightly and change our work patterns, but I believe fundamentally there'll still be a space for human beings in the working office environment.
Andy, you're not Andy Jassy. I hope you earn as much as him. Zaki Sajjad, Director of Business Development and Client Relations at Cavendish Maxwell. Always good to see you in the studio. Appreciate your time.
You too. Thank you very much.